G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. This is what's called a Pitts Python, which has various faults, wounds, dings, lumps of battle damage. And I'm going to have a bit of a go at repairing it. We have a crack here in the root of the upper right wing. It's matched by another crack there in the root of the lower right wing. The upper left aileron has come away. Although I am in possession of proper nylon model aircraft hinges, I'm not going to use them because these ailerons are designed to be continually joined all the way along so that you don't get any stress points. So I'm not going to repair those with the hinges. Instead, I will heal the aileron hinges with micropore medical supplies. And I'll try and stick it down into the groove so that aerodynamically the repaired aileron will be identical to the undamaged aileron. That's the theory. I'm going to have to patch that wing before I stick the aileron onto it with the micropore. The forward upper hatch is supposed to be secured with magnets. 3 of the magnets have pulled themselves out of the glue that holds them into the fuselage. The rear centre section strut mounting is missing the screw, which is supposed to hold it in. The forward centre section struts, well, they've come completely adrift. They're missing their tiny weeny little nut and bolt, as is the forward lower interplane strut connection on the left wing. It's only missing because I pulled it out so I could show it to you here. I did have grand plans of robbing an old radio-controlled helicopter of a couple of nuts and bolts for these. However, the helicopter has no nuts on its bolts. So I think I'm going to have to use nylon kite string and sew those back together. Or I might use very, very thin tie wire instead. That, I will just have to come up with something to replace it with. Not a great deal of damage on the bottom. That cosmetic air scoop will go straight back onto there. This lives on the undercarriage legs. It looks like it's going to be an interesting kind of trick to get this flat plate undercarriage back into that hole that it's come out of. Certainly it's not going to go well with hot glue, so I'm planning on using araldite. Of the 5-minute variety, possibly with a woven fiberglass cloth splint, shall we say. Although another option is to use this really super tough, durable EPO foam, which comes from the first twin ducted fan asymmetric thrust Sky Hero that I got stuck in a tree and spent an entire day shooting pieces out of with a catapult to knock it back down. And in the process, I managed to get a direct hit on the radio compartment. And if you can see it there, that little thing with the copper coil, it's supposed to be filled with wax, and the impact from the rock blew the wax out of the radio's copper coil, and it thereafter had a range of about 5 metres. So now I finally found something that I can use, perhaps the EPO as gussets, bracings, bandages, splints in the reconstruction of the Pitts Python. Okay, that's pretty much the job outline so far, and if I can pull this off and get this thing back into a stage where it will fly, or is capable of flying, then we rescue a $250 model aeroplane which put itself in this condition after 3 seconds of flight. If I failed to resurrect this, then it means my son has spent his $250 at a rate of $300,000 an hour. Generally, there are very, very few radio-controlled model aeroplanes which fly on an hourly basis as cheaply as the real aircraft of which they are a model. If you can pay $250 for a model of a PITS and you can make it spend 1 hour in the air, that's roughly equivalent to what you would spend if you went to somebody who owns a PIT Special and paid for a 1 hour instruction flight. I'll make another movie of this after I've finished gluing and rebuilding. Ciao.